It's Wu-Tang Wednesday. Alright, hey everybody. So today I'm back with another review. I've tried doing this review in the past. I did not like the text that I did on it. This is a release from last year. Actually, no, it's not. This was released earlier this year. Wow, time has flown pretty damn fast. Yeah, no. So this was a release from around March, February, that timeline in 2022. I've had this fragrance since the pre-release actually. They ran a pre-release sale. I got a little discount on this. You can't really find this on online discounters. You have to buy it, I'm pretty sure, from the website. I have not seen it on any type of discounter whatsoever. It's a fragrance house that I was actually quite curious about, especially early on in my journey when I heard that the brand actually used to create fragrances. And then the head of the brand, as you know by the title of this review, George Zaharoff, he actually made some fragrances before, I guess, shutting down the business or whatever. And then I heard that he released a new fragrance around early mid 2020 about, which was Zaharoff's signature Pour Homme, an ode to old school type of fragrances. Something I wanted to try early on in my fragrance journey, but I never pulled the trigger on it. He started releasing more fragrances later on, so he flankered Noir, he got Royale, and then this is one of those flankers of the flanker. And the main reason why I really wanted this fragrance in the first place was because of the note breakdown. It seemed very interesting to me. The marketing ploy, this was targeting a specific type of person, and I actually thought it fit my personality fairly well, which is the reason why I pulled the trigger on it. I normally don't just blind buy a fragrance right after it gets released. Now that I think about it, I did that a little bit last year too, towards the end of the year. That's for a different reason though. I'll talk about that if I end up doing a review or talking about the fragrance. This is the second time I ever just jumped the gun on a fragrance. This is niche. I guess technically now it's designer, but at the time they were considered niche because they were only creating fragrances at the time. Granted, they weren't $200+ type of fragrances, but it's not the cheapest thing in the world. I got this, I think, for like 120, 130, and I was working at the time. I still have a job, but I was actually working a lot at that time. I was generating a decent amount of money, and I thought, you know what? I'll just congratulate myself, buy myself a brand new release. And this is actually that flanker of the flanker. This is Zaharoff Signature Royale X. Now, this actually has a flanker too, technically, I guess. If you're not aware, there is Signature Royale Triple X, which I have not smelled. That I've been very curious about. I have no idea if they're ever going to release a bottle. Hopefully they do. George, if for some reason you watch this, or like TLTG Reviews, Justin Copeland, Andre from Greatly Sense, if any of y'all know about the status of Triple X, I would like to know. That would be really cool to have a bottle of that, because I remember hearing it when it first was released. It was part of this sampler set. The only way you could get Triple X, it was like believe it was like a 10 milliliter decant. That was the only way you could purchase it, and you had to buy a set of fragrances from Zaharoff's website. Back to the review. I've had this fragrance for about 7 months or so, give or take a month or two. I've spent a lot of time. They only released, at least this is from the first release. I don't know if they restocked them. If they did, I'll leave a link down below. But this is one of the original bottles. It came with like a mask. It had like a thank you note on it. I still have the mask. I need to find it somewhere. But I just thought that was really neat. The reason why I bought this in the first place was because it marketed the note of musk. If you've seen some of my videos talking about my favorite fragrant notes, musk is at the top. I love a musk, dirty, clean, somewhere in between. I just love the note of musk. Don't get me wrong, not all musk I like, but the majority of them I do. One example in particular, Narciso Rodriguez, for him, Eau de Parfum. I thought I would love that fragrance. Iris, pink pepper, and musk. I thought I was going to freaking enjoy the fragrance. I cannot wear that thing for the life of me because it's just way too old school. And maybe that's what I don't like. I don't like when Musk go take a vintage like 80s, 70s type of route. But this is far from that. Signature Royal X is far from that. This is a 60 milliliter bottle. You could see at the bottom right there. I'll show the packaging in a little bit. There's the cap. So here's at least the front side of the box. This is what it looked like. I don't know if they changed the packaging. If they did, let me know down below. I would really appreciate it. There's like the distribution information, badge code, barcode, all of that nice stuff if you're into that type of thing. Let's see, anything on the back of the box? Oh, they have the website. They have the website at the back of the box. So for those of you who are interested, simple packaging. I really liked it. The reason why I kept this packaging, because I mentioned in my last review, if you haven't watched that review of Ferrari Noble Fig, please watch it. I typically do not like to keep the packaging of my fragrances. This quickly became one of my top 3 scents ever. Oh my God. I almost broke the bottle. Jesus. Okay. Well, back on track. This has quickly become one of my favorite fragrances ever. Not necessarily because it's challenging. I do like a good challenging fragrance from time to time, don't get me wrong. But this is just so wearable. And typically, I do not like shower gel type of scents. This is not shower gel, but this is a realistic shower. It smells like a realistic shower. It's so good. It's so clean. It's so fresh. Aquatic, even though there's no aquatic notes listed. The musk in here is not necessarily the focal point. And the note breakdown might make you think this is a lot dirtier than what it is. But this is actually very clean. Very clean, very crisp. I've worn it out in public. Not necessarily a compliment monster, but you will turn some heads for people who really like that clean scent profile, that shower profile. I'm not even calling this a shower gel scent because this is not shower gel. This is a legit shower. It smells like you're taking a shower. And I don't know why I like it so much. I typically do not lean for like these blue style of shower gel aquatic fragrances. Don't get me wrong, some aquatics are very nice. I really enjoy them, especially in the summertime. They have their place. But I gravitate towards slightly heavier fragrances, like powdery fragrances, woody fragrances, vanilla fragrances, booziness if there's some booziness, tobacco, even some like Western ouds. I really enjoy. I don't know. I just really dig the shit out this scent. It's so good. I think it's because of how realistic it comes across. Now, the only time I wear Signature Royale X is right after I hop out the shower. And not necessarily because I'm going to stay around the house, no one's going to smell me, but because it just enhances that fresh out of the shower type of feel. And it just, I don't know, it just gives me a boost of confidence to some extent because I feel like 10 hours after I showered or so, I just hop out the shower because this is still on my skin. It's fairly linear. Nuances are very subtle. They're not really drastic, oh, I got citrus at the top. Oh, and then I got some like violets in the mid. And oh, wait a minute, it became boozy in the base. It's not that type of complex change and things of that nature. This is more so, okay, at the opening, it's very, very shower-like. In the mid, you kind of lose a little bit. I honestly forgot what I was talking about, to be honest. But what I can tell you, if I didn't mention it, it does lose a little bit of that bright freshness at the top. That initial opening is actually kind of watery, kind of like you're hopping in the shower type of feel. Let me put it this way. You just turn on the water. Now the water's getting on your body. And George Zaharoff did market this being sex in the shower or sex right after a shower, which I could kind of see, to be honest. That's probably one of the reasons why I really like this a lot, because it actually does a really good job playing into that specific scene. Because it does smell like that, especially right after the shower, right after a shower. I spray this kind of heavy, to be honest, because sneaky performer. It's not the loudest projector, but it will reach out. And especially the way that I shower, and as I talked about in the past, I use lotion to make my fragrances last longer. That little kick at the opening, it's just sharp and clean. And then I get to smell it a little longer because at least on my skin, I've been smelling this around 8 to 10 hours total. Sometimes I get 12 or so, especially if I sprayed it really, really heavy. I'm not the heaviest sprayer, but I do not spray like 2 or 3 sprays. I'm more so the kind of person, especially with a profile like this, I would spray about 7 times or so. You know, obviously it depends on the situation. And the last time I really wore this out in public, aside from school, because I have worn this a couple times to classes just because that scent profile was still on my skin and I couldn't really mask it with another scent profile of another fragrance. But the last time I wore this, like around my friends and my family, I only sprayed it like 4 times because that's all I really needed. 2 in the back of the neck and then 1 on the back of each of my triceps. So if you're hanging around with specific people, it obviously depends on how much you spray. And I always spray according to my situation. I don't just spray a certain amount of times. That doesn't necessarily always work for me, but if you're just trying to be really clean, really fresh, and like a sexy fresh, really sexy fresh, this is the way to go. Like I mentioned, I don't really get a whole lot of compliments on this thing, but it's more so just head turns. A lot of people just turn, look at me, double takes, things of that nature. They look at my way, and then like 30 seconds later, they look at me again, and then they look at me again. You know, I'm just minding my own business. Like I'm on my phone, doing work, walking around the campus. This does get a surprising amount of attention. And it's probably because of that clean facet. It's just super clean, almost squeaky clean. It's not like a laundry detergent or like a cleaning supply type of clean. This is about as uber humanly clean you can get in a fragrance. So that's why I really enjoy it. As I mentioned before, performance on this thing is very good on my skin. Like I said this in the past, I'll say it again. Your skin is not my skin. I typically get really good performance off the most average performing fragrances according to the fragrance community. A lot of people say this thing doesn't last on them or it's like an average performer. I could see where they're coming from, especially when they're talking about projection, because this is not a projection monster. It does reach out a little bit in the first hour to 2 hours, kind of tickles people's noses when they're walking by you, or it's kind of like a really personal bubble type of scent, but it stays very consistent. The sillage stays consistent as well. I'll get wafts around my head, even into like 5, 6, 7 hours. I've smelled this thing on me sometimes as far into as 12 hours. I just just turning my head around, you know. If I had to go back and grab something, I'd smell it. I'm like, damn, I still smell really freaking good. And I think it's probably because it's so clean. But then again, I'm not really a clean freak in terms of that type of scent profile is my favorite thing in the world. Something about it is just so freaking good. I really like it. Again, I would definitely say sample this first because it is so clean and it's not like a dirty musk like a lot of people expected it to be. I think that's where some people were disappointed because they wanted a dirty musk. It's so clean that it could be perceived as dirty depending on the person you're talking to. It's just uber clean that could lead to dirty things, if you know what I mean. I'll put a picture up just to see where the status of this fragrance is at, because I did remember him saying initially, this is going to be a one-time release. The moment we're done with selling all the bottles, that's it. We're done. And then I think he sold the bottles so fast, he realized he had something good on his hands. So he did a second batch. I don't know if they're doing a second batch, a third batch, what have you. This is an original batch, and I've got to say I really like this scent profile a lot. The way that he did it in particular, I think was just perfect. I would not change a single thing on this fragrance. I don't rate fragrances, but this is one of my top 3 fragrances in my entire collection. One of the top 3 fragrances I've smelled in general. When I talk about my favorite fragrances, Dante Bra is my number 1, and then right below is a tie between Under My Skin from Francesca Bianchi, which I also do need to review sometime in the future, and Signature Royale X. That's just my kind of favorite scent profile, is either really clean musk, a musk that adds like a warmth or has warm notes supporting it, or a dirty musk done right, at least for me. And I really enjoy those three scent profiles. They just make me really freaking happy. That's why I like it so much. And those are the three fragrances I wear the least outside of my house, which is kind of ironic being that they're my favorite fragrances. You would think that I would wear it all the time. And to an extent I do, but I have to wear it around the right people. I don't wear it around strangers for the most part. Like I mentioned before, I've worn this to class a couple of times because it was still on my skin and I couldn't really replace it. But I only wear it around people that I know me really well. So like my really good friends, my family, close ones, so on and so forth. I don't really wear it for the public. I wear it for my like group of people. That's where I like to wear stuff like this because it's not necessarily a show-stopping fragrance, but the way that I perceive it, I hold those three fragrances in such high regard. I only wear it around people that mean a lot to me. If you watched my W Summer 2022, if you watched towards the end, that picture at the end, that was me in that green shirt. That day, this was my scent of the day and scent of the night. And I mean, I've made some good memories with this. That's probably another reason why I like this fragrance so much is because I do have quite a few scent memories tied to this, and they do mean a lot to me. So that's probably another reason why I like this fragrance so much. But yeah, let me know what you think about Signature Royale X. Obviously, this wasn't necessarily a note breakdown type of review, talking about like specific notes being like a pro dominant type of player. Because in reality, the note breakdown is kind of misleading to the scent profile here in Signature Royale X. And I've read some reviews, Parfumo and Fragrantica in particular. I don't really dive that much into base notes, so I could be completely wrong about what I'm coming off across as a general public. But from what I've seen, people were kind of disappointed that this was super clean. I don't mind it at all. I actually really like the fact that it's a very clean shower type of musk. And even though musk isn't really the most dominant note, you do get it in the fragrance. It's there. It's not the main player, but it is there. I really do enjoy it. I like, if you see the reflection, if you've been seeing it, it has the triple X. It's one X in the back, but when you see the front, it looks like three X's. So I really like that. I really want to try Signature Royale Triple X though. If you've tried either one, Royale X or Royale Triple X, let me know down in the comment section below because I do like reading those comments. I'm actually wanting to try Triple X, so that could help me kind of understand what Triple X smells like, what I expect to smell once I do try it eventually. But yeah, like the video, comment down below, subscribe to my channel for future content. I don't just review fragrances. I just don't talk about fragrances. I've done gaming, Call of Duty. I've done some Mortal Kombat videos, poker videos. I'm going to do more reactions too because there's some stuff on YouTube I do want to react to raw, especially if you're into stuff that I just mentioned. I think you would like my channel. So until then, I'll see you in the next one. That's nice.